Theme parks and video games are two of our favorite things, and today we're going to cover video game characters in theme parks, from rare characters to the most advanced and recent. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on part 2 of this series. Mario and Luigi. Very few would dare to dispute the following statement. Mario is the most popular character in the world of video games. My strongest point is that even people who don't play video games know who Mario is, so he has remained relevant for over 35 years, with games on every Nintendo platform imaginable. Mario is one of the few characters that has managed to unite every generation of gamers, from boomers to Gen Z. Many fell in love with Mario and his universe through games like Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, or more recently Mario Odyssey. We can all agree that each game is special, and Mario goes beyond just video games. The upcoming movie will be a new catalyst and magnet for countless new fans. Moreover, Nintendo has brought Mario and Luigi to life with its incredible Super Nintendo World lands in Japan, Hollywood, and soon in Epic Universe in Orlando. Everyone loves the new Mario and Luigi characters at the park, but this is not the first time they have been brought into the real world. Mario debuted in 1986 with a rather terrifying costume consisting of a leotard and a Mario mask. The suit had normal human proportions, making it quite strange, and the mask wasn't very true to character. This suit was present during the 1986 Mario-thon, but that's nothing compared to the 1989 Mario Ice-Capade special, where the Mushroom Kingdom characters appeared with costumes that looked like a hallucinogenic mushroom trip inspired them. Just look at these incarnations. What were they thinking when they made these costumes? Seriously, look at the version of Mario present during the Super Mario Tournament. In 1995, Mario got a revamp to become the official mascot of the Nintendo 64, and this design was a significant improvement. As a result, KCL Productions designed various Mario costumes to promote different video games, like the epic Super Smash Bros. Commercial, Mario Kart, Super Mario, and Mario Sunshine. Also, if you're a fan of the channel, you'll surely remember the amazing animatronic puppets that Nintendo created for E3 in 1996. In 2001, Sega and Nintendo announced a powerful partnership for the first Sonic game on a Nintendo console, Sonic Advance. To promote this release, Nintendo and Sega created costumes for both characters. But it wasn't until 2010 that Nintendo had a glow-up for Mario's costumes, created for the 25th anniversary celebration held at the Nintendo World Store in New York. This paved the way for countless activations with Mario, like a complete maze to promote Mario 3DS Land. Nintendo transformed Times Square into the Mushroom Kingdom in an interactive experience. In 2021, Super Nintendo World opened in Japan, and with the land came a new version of Mario and Luigi's costumes, this time with more technology than ever. In this version, they can talk and blink. These costumes are undoubtedly among the best ever seen in theme parks. Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot is one of the best and also most frustrating platform games in the history of video games. Many of us grew up loving this franchise and, of course, its main character. So it is fantastic to know that Crash was available to meet at Universal Studios, even if it was just for a little while. Fortunately, many of us were lucky enough to see Crash at Universal Studios in the 90s, but there are also other places where he has appeared. So let's take a tour of all the places this Bandicoot has been. Crash made his theme park debut in the 90s at Universal Studios. You might wonder why Crash was a character at Universal. Well, in 1996, Naughty Dog released Crash Bandicoot for the PlayStation, published by Universal Studios Interactive with a marketing deal by Sony. The game was a massive success, and Universal decided to incorporate the character into Universal Studios for shows and meet and greets. During this time, Naughty Dog created some funny commercials featuring Crash Bandicoot mocking and threatening Nintendo with a megaphone.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Pack up your stuff. I got a little surprise for you here.
Check it out. What do you think about that? We got real-time, 3D, lush organic environments. How's that make you feel, buddy?
Feel a little like your days are numbered?
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
You're hurting my elbow.
Is that Italian?
No, Bandicoot, it's an Australian name.
This suit was very different from the one that appeared in the parks, as it had a hole where the wearer's face could be seen. These ads were super iconic, and even in the parks you could occasionally see Crash carrying a megaphone, alluding to these segments. Many people agree that Crash was one of the most fun characters to interact with because he would make his famous Crash dance and spin, and occasionally, they made the same "whoa" that Crash would make if you died in the game. Universal had to create a completely different suit for the Japanese version with more exaggerated proportions because they consider the original version to be too American. Here we can see the two costumes side by side. Over time, Universal and Naughty Dog went their separate ways when Naughty Dog exclusively partnered with Sony to create Jak and Daxter. However, Crash remained in the parks as Universal still owned the publishing rights. In 2008, Universal stopped being heavily involved in video games and merged its Vivendi Interactive division with Activision. Later in 2013, Activision split off and took various properties with them, including Crash Bandicoot, which meant that Crash would never return to the Universal parks. Recently, Microsoft announced its intention to acquire Activision in its entirety, which means that Sony's exclusive character could end up being exclusively owned by its biggest rival. Crash has also appeared at various conventions, such as the now almost extinct E3, and in 2020, the disruptive 1996 Crash costumes returned to make all kinds of appearances, from commercials to live interview interruptions.
Kitty cat. That's good. What's it gonna be? Launch in 3, 2, 1!
It's about time. Crash is back with an all-new game, new worlds, new powers, new insanity.
Did you hear that, Todd? We're having a Bandicoot.
Yeah, he's putting it together, folks. I should go.
Sonic. If you grew up in the 90s like us, you'd surely remember the epic and original console war between Sega and Nintendo.
Gotta go. Hey, guy, you're the first serious gamer I've seen all morning. Check this out. Brand new 16-bit Super Nintendo with Super Mario World. Wow!
Oh, what's this one?
Oh, this is a Sonic the Hedgehog from Sega Genesis. Hey, look at these radical colors, huh?
Wow, Sonic's fast, too.
No, over here.
I like Genesis, and it costs a lot less.
Wait, kid, that game
I'll
there.
take Sonic and Genesis.
I knew that.
Sonic the Hedgehog. More action, more speed. Sega Genesis, it's a whole lot more for less.
Nowadays, it's pretty common to see mashups between Sonic and Mario, and even Sonic games on Nintendo systems. But back in the 90s, that would have been sacrilege. Nintendo fans were not very exposed to Sonic until during the GameCube era with Sonic Adventure 2. However, Sonic's design and the character's abilities have always caught the attention of audiences worldwide, so he has remained relevant in the world of video games. As a result, the character has been brought to the real world through some fantastic costumes and others that are a bit strange. Today, we'll take a look at some of these designs, focusing mainly on those that have appeared in the attractions and theme parks. When Sonic 2 was released, Sega created two costumes for Sonic and Tails in the UK. They appeared on numerous occasions in various magazines and were present during the Future Entertainment Show in 1992 and the 1992 Sega Championship Finals. During this time, the US had its own Sonic and Tails mascots. Their Sonic was similar, but their Tails was huge, less furry, and a different color. This costume was Japan's most popular because it hung out with Michael Jackson during Sonic 3's promotion. Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles debuted new costumes in 1999. The costumes were so good and popular that Sega used them to promote Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic X, and Sonic Battle at several events in Japan. They also added Rouge, Shadow, Eggman, and Cream to this line over time. Shadow in Sonic's costumes was temporarily brought back to promote Shadow the Hedgehog, but the other cast would remain dormant until redesigned for later events. One of the places where we could find Sonic was theme parks, of course. We are beginning with Tokyo Joypolis, where Sonic has been entertaining guests for at least a decade. Dressed in his iconic blue and red outfit, Sonic is typically available daily for photos at the park. During special occasions such as Halloween and Christmas, Sonic often does festive attire to join in the celebrations. Dubai's Sega Republic was like Tokyo Joypolis, a massive indoor theme park with Sega rides and attractions. Sonic, Tails, and Amy mascots promoted the park. Sonic was a daily sight in the park. Guests could take pictures and book birthday party events with him. Tails and Amy were reserved for media events. These Sonic costumes are likely familiar to you. The modern design has been used at almost every video game event since 2010, including Summer of Sonic. At the Alton Towers Sonic Spinball launch event, the Sonic costume danced with Crush 40 and performed several familiar poses. And of course, we must remember Sega World Australia. From 1997 to 2000, Sydney's Sega World was an indoor theme park that opened in 1997 and sadly closed in 2000. This indoor park featured many attractions, and Sonic the Hedgehog was one of them. Not only that, but Sonic was Sega World's mascot. The mascot resembled Sonic's 90s costume, complete with red sneakers and white gloves. Because he looked different from other Sonic mascots, Sega World Sonic was memorable. With longer legs and a slimmer body, his design was more athletic. This design was exclusive to the park. The Werehog costume, however, designed to support the release of Sonic Unleashed, was one of the most impressive Sonic costumes. Despite the costume's size, the character had no trouble moving around in it. The costume can be seen jumping, waving its arms in the air, walking quickly and confidently, and even striking some poses familiar to those used in the game. It was one of the best costumes Sega has ever produced, and was only worn for a short time at one event. In 2014, Sonic debuted a new design based on Sonic Boom. The main difference was that the design was slightly more dynamic, and for some reason, Sonic now wore a bandana and a scarf. In 2020, with Sonic's arrival on the big screen, he debuted a new look based on the movie, this time featuring a more furry design. Sonic has gone through countless variations, and there are still many more to come. With the new Sonic Frontiers DLC and a third Sonic movie installment, we can't wait to see what the future holds for this character. Kingdom Hearts characters. For the past 20 years, people have loved Kingdom Hearts and its characters. As we've said before, it is very surprising that Disney doesn't have these characters at the parks more often. But at least since we first talked about them, they've appeared at more special events at the parks more recently. The only characters from this franchise that have been seen in the parks are Sora, King Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, some appearing more regularly than others. Their first appearance was back in 2004. When they came out to meet guests during the not-so-scary Halloween party at Walt Disney World. Sora was seen appearing as an atmosphere character instead of being a face character like Disney usually does for its human characters. Sora appeared as his Kingdom Hearts 1 self, wearing his usual red costume and had an amazing life-size Keyblade. Donald and Goofy were out greeting guests also during this event. They both had their Kingdom Hearts costumes and weapons. Goofy having his Night Shield, and Donald his Mage Staff. This has been the only time that we have seen Sora at the parks, and it was because Chain of Memories was released during this time. The costume has not ever been seen at the parks again, but it was used for other promotional events for the series around that time in Japan. Donald and Goofy are the most common characters from this franchise appearing during Japan's 2013 D23, when they came out to present the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer to attendees. They also appeared in 2017 at the Cast Member Appreciation event in Orlando, the 2018 DVC Moonlight Magic event at Disneyland, and at the first Oogie Boogie Bash back in 2019, where we were able to meet them. Donald has also returned for Oogie Boogie Bash last year, bringing a guest with him, King Mickey. The first appearance that King Mickey made was at Japan's 2015 D23, and it remained his only appearance until last year's Oogie Boogie Bash. Before this, Mickey was the rarest character ever to appear wearing his Kingdom Hearts outfit. But now we can say that Sora is even rarer, appearing only once before. We all went crazy when we found out that Mickey would appear at this event, and we tried meeting him several times. We had no luck, but we actually caught him leaving once, and he was cool enough to let us take a quick selfie with him before he left. It was one of the highlights of the event. We would love to see them again. And we hope Disney gets to come to an arrangement with Square Enix so that Sora can appear once more at the parks. Chocobos. Chocobos are some of the most beloved creatures in the Final Fantasy franchise. These large, bird-like creatures have captured the hearts of many fans, and the idea of seeing them in real life has long been a dream for many. Well, this dream came true for many fans during a special 2016 event, and it was all thanks to the fantastic Only Dinosaurs. Only Dinosaurs is a fantastic Chinese company that creates impressive and realistic Jurassic animatronics that are also cost-effective. They are also known for making puppets and fabulous costumes. Back in 2016, they were hired by Square Enix to create 4 Chocobo animatronic suits in honor of the release of a new Final Fantasy game in the UK. The Only Dinosaurs team put their best sculptors, mechanists, and engineers to work, and the result was awe-inspiring. The suits are almost 7 feet tall and 13 feet wide, and have vivid movements, lifelike colors, realistic eyes, and a clear texture on their feathers. The team spent about 45 days creating these cute creatures, so they could be ready to present them at the 2016 EGX event to celebrate this release. For the production of the Chocobo suits, Square Enix supplied the company with special Chocobo design drafts and digital figure pictures so they could be made as close to the originals as possible. And the results were terrific. Guests were able to watch these beautiful birds in action, interacting with them and even getting up close to them. While the actors' legs were not entirely hidden, the level of detail and care put into the animatronics was remarkable, and we would love to see these animatronic birds again. The best part about these suits is that the company offers custom animatronics, and you can even request one for yourself. It would cost you about $8,000, but you would be able to own one of these beautiful bird suits. It's incredible to see how technology has advanced to bring our favorite game characters to life. We can't wait to see what the future holds for animatronics in the entertainment industry. But these incredible birds are not the last characters that have been brought to life, and that's something we'll cover in part 2 of this series. In the meantime, check out these 2 videos of video game animatronics. See you next week.